Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor Templar here. We're going to talk about radionics, the essential facts of it. Now, there's, again, as usual, nothing but misunderstandings. Of course, I have a long course on consciousness machines, which you can follow the link below to go to the website to look at. This is the only real course in radionics you'll ever find, and unfortunately it's partially finished, and I will be adding to it often, but the essentials are there, and it's a fun, fascinating, which gives you in-depth information into the subject matter. But let's get into what radionics is. Again, everybody tries to complicate the issue of what is it. Well, basically, radionics is a consciousness machine technology. Your consciousness, which is the sum of all your biophysical energies, your mind, your brain, your body energies, are all combined into what's considered the consciousness, this bigger sum of all the pieces. You could call it a synergy of your whole being. This then interacts with a physical technology, a machine, period. So, one does not work without the other. You can't be consciously or psychically strong and call it radionics. No. You can't use a machine without you dialing it in like it's some sort of a common toaster. Well, you slip the bread in there, you pull the lever down, you got toast in a few minutes. No, doesn't work like that. It's a consciousness machine, and we need to start using those technologies, and that's what the terminology that I use now is they're consciousness machines, and that's what needs to be understood, because on their own they do nothing, and they never have. They're machines that require huge amounts of skill, understanding, and practice to use correctly. And people seem to like to get lots of dials on machines, which means lots and lots of work, and this takes a skilled operator. So you need to fully understand that and not fall into it. Radionics is not about tachyons, it's not about lasers, it's not about orgone, it's not about color therapy, it's not about any of these things. Now, different consciousness machines may use as part of that machine light energy, lasers, they may use tachyons, they may make claims about orgone. This is what a consciousness machine is assisted by, but it doesn't work on those energies. The primary energy is human consciousness entering into the machine, using that to amplify and project to a particular target whatever you want to have happen with that. So you go from this consciousness level and you use a machine to assist you, which is critical to tap into what are these subtle energy physics, the building blocks of all nature. You could call them subatomic particles, that you then rearrange in the order you wish to get the effect that you want, whether that's creating a field of prosperity around somebody, healing them, or ripping them apart. So it all depends on your intentions of what you're doing, and that's what the machine helps you do. But it's not just a psychic crutch. You're not just tuning things on a, quote, biophysical, which is the correct term, not psychic. That's a horrible term. The biophysical goes into the machine and it creates a synergetic energy again, something that is able to affect physical and matter of all types. And subatomic particles still fit. We're talking all matter, all types of energies are physical in nature. It just depends their density. So not only is that process very important, because you will be leaving your consciousness there tuned into a particular channel directed to that particular change, but a very critical process happens. And this is the reason why so many of these radionic type machines don't work well, is they don't have any amplification. Now, putting in amplifications, which people claim by using orgones, tachyon, etc., are not really amplifiers to any great degree. You have to use a series of proper amplifiers in a particular way, and you can include energies that you like or think are good, and these could be tested. How well do they work? So And we found that all these things help a little bit. How much is very difficult to say. There are problems with so many energies. I've always worked with tachyons because they tend to be pure and you can't really affect them in the environment. They are not condensed. You draw them to you out of the cosmic reality. You're not condensing them from the atmosphere. They may be in the atmosphere, they're not part of it as the energies that orgone tend to be. But that is only part of the process. So once you've done that, then there is a broadcasting capacity, which is another element of using machineries which you can't do. Now, the plain and simple fact is that this has been tested time again. Psychics compared to radionic machines that are not empowered, they're just kind of psychic crutches, and those who are been empowered through the use of amplifiers of some sort of another and some sort of broadcasting capacities. And it has been proven time and time again that those that are have the broadcast capacity, that are amplified, do the job much better and faster and work when the other methods don't work. So this has been documented. Yet people continue to fall back on this is just a psychic process, you need a machine as a psychic crutch. This is complete nonsense, and we're getting into areas that are very problematical. So, the actual reality is that it's a consciousness machine. Your consciousness, which, as I've stated, is all of your being, not just psychic power, everything. This is a whole complicated of what are called your occult energy bodies. This all then goes into this machine, which then grabs it, you tune into a particular target. It is then amplified, and then it is broadcast. That's the guts and hearts of radionics, people. Everything else is shrouded in, I have the magic dust to put in this machine, the goop, the special dials. It's just complete and total nonsense. These are not amplifying in the direct manner that you need to do. You need to take the energies that are coming out of this machine, your consciousness energies, and amplify them directly. You can assist this amplification through the use of tachyons or anything else, but that's not the main part of it. You have to amplify the created energy. Your consciousness energy has to be amplified. This is what works. It then has to be through a particular type of amplifier, which can be boosted by anything, crystals, whatever you like. It can be amplified there, and that does assist to a certain level. But that then has to be broadcast to the atmosphere. Now, this is the general primitive thought forms, but you're not really broadcasting to like a radio station, but you are getting the energy out into the atmospheric realities that will then affect that person. So the quantum physics still needs to be connected to the quantum entanglement field, and that's done through using these things. If you just try and do it psychically, well, it doesn't work well because it's not very sustained very long. So the whole idea is the energy goes out, it does its job within probably minutes or seconds, and then it's done. When you use a machine, it's keeping that going to a certain degree for a longer period of time. And of course, you have to then adjust it. Where were you psychically when you were doing that before? In terms of you want to adjust those energies going out, those subatomic particle fields, the subtle energy physics, well, it's in the machine, and you're able to adjust it. You can't do that psychically because psychic is not something that is finite. It is in its own way, but the only way to make it registrable, understandable, and quantified to a certain degree is the fact of putting it through a machine and getting numbers from it, or having some sort of other energetic plates you're using or certain things. So the machines are critical. You have to have good machines. They have to be built right. They have to be using the right wires. You have to stay away from lead solders, plastic cases. All these things are not really very good. And of course, if you're dealing with these subatomic field energies, subtle energy physics, well, every component is critical. And if you don't have these components correctly or use sloppy ones, bad wires, stainless steel plates, all the things I see all the time, which are very poor conductors of the biophysical energy fields, then you keep lessening the effects, which is why machines today work so pitifully poor. So you have to have these certain components built into the actual machine itself, and then these have to be amplified and broadcast. So that's the meat and potatoes, people. Hope it's clear.